Hello, everybody. Oh, I'm back to my normal spot. There we go. Switch me back in. We are back. We just did a live stream with John talking about his book. Now we are here live with Mary talking about another situation that just happened. So I need to set up a couple more things here. So I will let Mary explain why we are here if she knows.
All right. So what happened very recently today is that the ex-Muslim man who had burned a Quran in Sweden was murdered by jihadis even before his court date for the pathetic dhimmis in Sweden who wanted to bring him up on charges. And the reason he burned the Quran in the first place is because of this ridiculous behavior. He wanted to express his feelings about a religion that teaches this nonsense. And he said, even though I know that they will kill me, it is important that I do this. Now, while he did accept that's probably going to happen, we can help Muslims around the world understand the consequences of what happens when they kill people for burning one Quran or damaging one Quran. We do not tolerate this. We do not put up
Mary,
with it.
let me get this straight. So, the Swedish authorities were going to roll over and go with what the Muslims wanted. The Muslims became impatient, did not want to wait, and decided, we're just going to kill this guy anyway. We're going to gun him down in his apartment.
Well, I mean, they wanted him dead, so they weren't happy with what the Swedish authorities are going to do. So the Swedish authorities were cooperating to punish someone in aid of this insane cult, and they killed him because they're an insane cult. But this is not to be tolerated. This is a cult of Satan, and when they act like demons, they need to be treated in such a way that they will understand what the consequences will be if they do this.
So this man burned, I think he did a couple Qurans. He didn't just do one, some Qurans. So, but they didn't like that, so they went ahead and protest. This was a big thing. Everyone was talking about it for a while. So they decided they wanted to kill him, even after like you said, the government was going to punish him. Not the way they wanted, but he's going to get punished one way or the other. So they decided to take him out by a different means. And last night, he was gunned down in his house. Again, guns are illegal in Sweden. So they illegally got a gun, gunned him down. Gun laws really helped in that situation. While he was live streaming, and then suddenly later on, the cops were called. They showed up and they stopped the live stream. He was live streaming to Twitter, and your green screen does not
it does not like that book. Hang on one second.
You mean TikTok, right?
Take it out.
So I have a Quran right here, and this is the verse that they usually use. Of course, there are tons of other hadith that support the killing of apostates, but it says they ask you about the sacred month, etc., etc., etc. But what they use is slaughter, even though you're not supposed to fight in a sacred month. It is a greater evil for averting the people from the way of Allah and disbelief in Him, as well as preventing access to disbelief in Him and the Masjid al-Haram that's in Mecca, and the expulsion of people therefrom is a greater evil in the sight of Allah. And fitna is greater than killing. And whichever of you reverts from his religion to disbelief and dies while he's a disbeliever, for those their deeds become worthless, etc., etc. But this is the basis of one of the bases of the Islamic law for apostasy. So right now, it's hard to see. I'm going to take this beautiful, and my nose is running a little bit because everybody here has COVID. So I will make it nice and soft. And now I will use it for something that is much better than it's usually used.
Now that doesn't take very much imagination, now does it? So it is cold out here. As you can see, there's snow behind me. And in honor of this guy, because they killed him for burning a Quran, they need to know when they kill people for burning the Quran, the result is more people are going to burn the Quran. So that's why I'm out here today doing this. My wife is nice and warm in a safe location next to a different fire, keeping herself nice and cozy. I'm out here in the cold. So, but I want to warm up. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. We've got a very similar Quran to the one that Mary showed. I have got some 91% alcohol right here. And I am going to use that to start this party off. So, Mary, I'll ask you, why would pouring alcohol on the Quran be considered bad by some people?
Since Mary is muted at the moment, I will go ahead and say that Muslims supposedly don't like alcohol. I think that's kind of a strange theory and a strange claim by some Muslims, considering one of the best things you can get in Jannah is Allah serving you alcohol. And the Quran actually promotes the use of alcohol, the drinking of alcohol. And it's clear that the people in the time of the Quran who were considered faithful Muslims, even the most faithful Muslims, were drinking alcohol. However, supposedly, according to Islam, not just the Quran, drinking alcohol is haram. So they tend not to like alcohol publicly. However, there are also plenty of Muslims who recognize that the insanity of Islam is that whatever you do on the night of power kind of just like makes everything else in your life irrelevant. So they drink all year until Ramadan, and then they're just cleansed by Ramadan. That's kind of some information about alcohol. I'm not exactly sure which of those details you're going for, Eric, but we also know that Muslims have been very enraged when alcohol has been poured on Qurans in the past, calling for the death of those who did it, and just all that insanity too.
Absolutely. So, as you can see, got a little bit of wood there to help go, and we got the Quran now burning.
Best use for it.
Now,
Keep everyone warm.
it's nice and cozy. It's getting good flame on. I mean, I got the camera on it. You can zoom up on it. There we go. Nice and cozy. Again, this would not have occurred if the Muslims did not murder the guy.
Yep.
Muslims, stop killing people for insulting your book or doing things you don't like.
Because we will do many more things that you do not like if you do this, and we will not stop.
Oh, this is just the beginning. If you guys continue. Now, granted, at any given time, you can stop us from ever burning another book by simply not murdering people.
Well, and one of the
that would go ahead.
oh no, sorry. I think there might be a little bit of a lag. I was just going to say one of the strangest things about this is they're making this out to be such a big deal. Yet, isn't this halal in Islam? I mean, after all, one of their supposed rightly guided caliphs, Uthman, had a whole book burning thing, not just any book, but all of the different Qurans. All of them. Because he wanted to make his own. And you can't have a bunch of other people's versions of the Quran out there if you want yours to be the only one. So he burned all the Qurans, even though Allah said that he revealed it all these different ways, supposedly, according to Muhammad. To me, that sounds sketchy. It seems like there's a different reason behind it, but yeah.
Yeah, so there is. I'm going to go and put it on solo on the Quran for a bit. I can figure out how to do it because I'm outside. This is not my normal setup. No, no, no. We're doing something crazy. There we go. So there's the Quran. It's burning nice and warm. I'm actually surprised by how nice Qurans burn. They're actually pretty nice fire starters. So,
Yeah,
Mary,
mine
what
is
do you got there?
Oh, I burned a page just as you did yours, the page I blew my nose on, so now all the snot's gone. And it's just
nice.
dust.
Nice
It's very
sanitized.
nice. Look at what a nice little dust this makes.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so Uthman burned the Quran. Muslims don't have an issue with it. This random guy in Sweden burns the Quran. I mean, if Muslims would not have said anything about it, no one would have noticed. I would have never heard about him.
Yep, it's only because they freaked out that we even know about it.
They freaked out because they freaked out. It got noticed because they were pushing it. They were rioting. They were doing protests. Ended up being come big, and there we are now. You guys have murdered him. Yeah. So what happens? You try to
Really
stop
hard.
something, and it ends up becoming bigger.
One of the really heartbreaking things about this too is, as Christians, we care about people's souls. We do not want people to die who are not following the true God, Yahweh. And so, as Christians, even if we're opposed to Muslims, even if we're opposed to Islamic ideology, we don't wish death upon them. In fact,
Nope.
the only times that I know that Christians have pursued the death of Muslims, true Christians following Christ, are those who are trying to stop Muslims from taking more lives. And so there is a huge difference there. And yet, Muslims, their reaction isn't, oh, we need to stop this guy from taking human lives. It's, oh no, we need to stop this guy from burning something that there's millions and millions of copies of, and supposedly that all these Muslims have memorized by heart, word for word, from the beginning to the end, and can never be destroyed or changed or anything. Their heart isn't, hey, like, let's bring this guy to what they think is the truth. It's clearly not the truth. But their heart is, let's just end his life and make sure that he has to suffer forever, according to their theology. And sadly, I mean, I hope this isn't the case, but it does seem like this guy wasn't following the true God either. He was disbelieving. And this is also one of the heartbreaking things about Islam, is it often turns people away from the true God as well as the false, because they see the evils that Islam promotes, and so they just outright reject the truth altogether as well. It's so sad.
Yeah, and that's what you hit on is exactly right. It makes it even worse than if he was a Christian, because we know that he is paying the penalty. If he did not repent, he is paying the penalty, and that is abhorrent. If he's Christian, if he's not Christian, if he's Muslim, if he's atheist, anyone to pay that penalty is horrendous, and we do not wish that on any person at all. And that's another thing you said, was like they claim they have all these memorized. They've got this great memorization of all of these Qurans. Then if this guy is burning his own Quran, who cares? You've got all this memorized, so you should be able to copy it down really easily.
And keep in mind that this is all for pride. This is all for show. They recently found, or a few years ago, it was actually covered in international news when they found a whole bunch of copies of the Quran in the sewers of Taif and like the drains, because people would go to Mecca and then wouldn't want to go home with their Quran because they got all their sins forgiven and didn't want to have the extra weight on the plane or whatever, and they'd slip it into the storm sewer so that they wouldn't be seen to have thrown it away. So it is, it's the height of double standards. But if there were not double standards in Islam, there would be no standards at all. Islam is a language of, or is a religion of evilness, deception, darkness, and it is not the truth. And we're not going to stand for something that is not the truth just because you threaten people. Yeah,
So
Zen
I'm getting a
Master,
little
we
cold.
know, but we also know that they need to be responded to appropriately. So
Oh,
if they kill someone for burning one Quran, the answer is to burn thousands. If they don't want
or
thousands of Qurans to be burnt, then what do they need to do? They need to
not
stop killing
murder people.
people.
So a little alcohol in this. It's starting to get a little cold out here, so I need to restock the fire, I think. So here's another Quran right there. So let's go ahead and throw this off.
While he does that, I can't speak for everyone. I'm sure there are Muslims who have no idea what Islam teaches and don't understand that this is actually very in line with Islam to essentially hate human life and seek to destroy and kill, just like their father longs to lie, seek, and destroy. But I've already seen the reaction from Muslims in the past with past events like this. And in this event, not being like, oh, that's evil, don't do that, but instead being like, haha, I told you, Christians, or haha, I told you, people who speak out against Islam, look what happened to this guy, you might be next. And in fact, I saw that even today on Twitter against the apostate prophet, where people were essentially threatening his life and saying, you might be next. And it's like, it's just so sad, but it really is showing what this ideology really teaches. When people really follow this ideology, yeah, that's what it teaches. Kill apostates, kill Christians, kill Jews, kill polytheists, kill anyone who does not subscribe to your conception of what Islam and Muhammad teach.
yes. So that's why, you know what? We need to make a stand whenever someone does this. Again, human life is a lot more valuable than any book. I'd even say that for the Bible. Someone's burning the Bible. I wouldn't want them to die. I want them to come to know the truth and to be safe so they can have eternal life. What that book promises. But that is not what we have here. Islam does not teach that. Trying to pull this up. So we have on Twitter a bunch of people posting about his death, about what is going on there, and Muslims are reacting the way you expect. They are celebrating his death. This man is going to hell in their mindset, and they're celebrating this. Burn in hell, retard, from one of the Muslim commenters there. Good news, thumbs up, about his death. It just keeps going on. Even the honor of an animal is superior to this. Referring to him. Finally, another dog dies. And continues.
Can I just point out a crossover and kind of do a comparison between Christianity and Islam real quick?
Go ahead.
So right now, you were just going through some of the comments, and this live stream is discussing what happens when people burn what the Muslims claim is the eternal word of God. Muslims are outraged. They're excited about the death of those who do so. And yet, when we look at Christianity, we see that Jesus is the eternal word of God, the real eternal word who was with God and who is God and who all things were created through. And what happened when people tried to destroy that eternal word of God? He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus was willing to die and resurrect for those who turned against him, who even tried to kill him, who continuously sin against him. who destroy his creation, who even tried to destroy him, because he loves us so much, because he is love. And yet, in Islam, we see again that their quote unquote father is the father of lies, the father of destruction, Satan himself. And Allah does not shy away from these titles. Allah is very happy to be called the best of the deceivers. In fact, David S., who we've worked with, even just posted a video very recently showing Muslims bragging about Allah being the best of the deceivers, just as the Quran says. And so there really is this huge difference when people say things like, oh, you know, Jews and Christians and Muslims, we all follow the same God. No, we don't. Muslims follow Satan.
Yep.
Christians are trying to warn them and say, please stop. Not because we hate you, but because we love you. We don't want you to turn to evil. We don't want you to continue on in this horrible ideology that not only kills human flesh, but kills human souls. You're going to destruction within you and around you. Please turn to the truth of Christ.
Exactly.
So Muhammad, when slave girls made fun of him, slave girls made up a song that was funny. So music is forbidden in Islam because people kept on making songs that made fun of Muhammad. So suddenly Allah doesn't like music, and He also ordered the murders of slave girls, of poets, of old women and old men, because they did not follow Him. Christ on the cross said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." On the cross to the people who were killing him. Muhammad, because a slave girl insulted him, ordered them killed. Muhammad, when he took over Mecca, had a list of people, and he said that these people are to be slain even if they are hanging from the curtains of the Kaaba. According to Muhammad, the most precious place in the whole world where you're never supposed to do any violence is Mecca. But because he hated these people so much, he wanted them killed, even if they were in the most sacred place that was supposed to be above all. It was the most profane thing to do, to possibly do violence here. This is something that the pagans never did, because of course this is a pagan shrine with a pagan stone and pagan gods. But the pagans didn't have raids on Mecca and hadn't for many, many years. But Muhammad did it just because he was so outraged by people insulting him. When they were powerless and could not have done anything against him, he wanted them slaughtered there. This is not a representative of God. This is a man who follows his own lusts. And that's pretty much textbook Satanism, where you turn yourself into a god, and his Allah is his sock puppet. He does not have God. Just pathetic stories that ignorant barbarians, murderers, caravan robbers, camel eaters, camel pee drinkers were impressed by. But no one with any knowledge was ever impressed, because they knew what the prophets were like. They knew what Christ was like. And they did not recognize anything about the God that they knew in Muhammad.
Exactly. Oh, guys. I don't know what else to add to that. I mean, we have that it's something that was okay to do in Islam. We have them being upset and murdering people over it. Now we have us here doing campfire. Just like in all campfires, the stupid wind is putting all the smoke in my face. But that seems to be typical every time I do a campfire.
Well, adding on to what Mary said, in case anyone thinks that she's just, going off a deep end with Allah essentially being a sock puppet. I mean, even Muhammad's favorite wife recognized this. He said, "Oh, Muhammad, your Lord hastens to do your will." She saw that essentially anything Muhammad wanted, he got. And the context of that was him doing exactly that yet again. Saying, "Oh, I won't do something. Oh, wait, okay, I did it anyway. Oh, it's okay because Allah's cool with it. It's fine." Like, it's ridiculous. And even the people around Muhammad knew that. Even the people around Muhammad knew that he was making stuff up for his own convenience. Even the people around Muhammad knew that he was stealing stories and traditions from those around him, from heretics and from pagans. Um, the people around Muhammad knew this stuff. And so when we say this isn't just new information. We get this straight from the Islamic sources.
It's all there. Yeah, it's all there, all in the Islamic sources themselves. Just let everyone know, when you're burning a book or any sort of paper, you make sure the air gets to the level it's underneath the pages. Make sure it burns nice and thoroughly. It is actually pretty. It's quite pretty. But you know what? We need a little bit more than just the fire going. So I'm going to make something in just a second, since we got the fire going well. I'll be right back. Let's see here. Look at this. My wonderful brother over here, Thaddeus, has joined. Welcome.
Long time no see.
Yeah, I've been taking some time off YouTube, and I wasn't planning on being back today, but you got to do what you got to do.
Events keep happening.
So, Thaddeus, what do you think about this whole event?
Yeah, I mean, it's not surprising, right? I mean, this is a religion that, despite constant media telling us is such a peaceful religion, it's just like any other religion. But in fact, when you look at the history of Islam, you see continual violence from the time of Muhammad up until the present day. And when you look at the teachings of Muhammad, you see him encouraging the same thing. So is it ever a surprise? No, of course not. But that doesn't make it any less of a tragedy. And as you guys are pointing out, I didn't catch quite the start, but I caught a little bit before I joined, that Muslims are happy to celebrate this. You'd think, if this was something that was against the religion of Islam, you would have prominent Muslims coming out and saying, this is terrible. How could you defame our religion in this way? And yet that's not what you see. Shocking, I'm sure.
I added my one little page too. I found the Padan that I had lost, so I was able to contribute my little piece.
And I did bring a box of matches just in case.
you might want to just tear out the Arabic portion because one of the full pages made a surprising amount of smoke.
Well, it is pure Arabic, so there's not
Oh,
really
okay, so you have that
tearing
one.
out any Arabic portion, but I do have a bucket of water for safety, so you know.
Well, it's just the amount of smoke in the room. It'll take a couple of days for it to stop smoking. Oh, I like that. We're doing the marshmallows again. Looks like. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Best use for it.
Oh,
I don't know. Are they going to be safe to eat?
Well, we'll find out.
It's
So-
just like that goofball.
More.
Oh gosh, what is his name? Comedy Central. Central Comedy. Central Dawa Central, whatever he calls himself, Comedy Central. Like thinking that he could threaten someone's life and he'll still be invited to an event.
That was so incredibly stupid. Oh my gosh.
Maybe he just doesn't want to be invited.
He wants the right to claim that they disinvited him because they're racist.
They disinvited him because the insurance would never cover. I mean, he's not going to do anything. He's a pathetic little coward. But the insurance would never cover that in 1,000 years, him being there.
So I've got some chocolate, marshmallows. My fire's starting to die a little bit. I'll need to poke it to get it back up and going again. But there's a s'more right there with marshmallows cooked on the pages of the Quran. Never tasted anything quite like it. It's interesting. The chocolate really covers up the taste of murder. Get this going again. Be right back.
Yep.
So Thaddeus, what's your views on the history of Quran burning?
Well, you know, I would not consider myself an expert on Quran burnings per se, but I do know that the earliest Quran burnings were done entirely by Muslims. In fact, it remains sacred Islamic law to this day that you can dispose of a Quran that is damaged, which is any Quran in reality, in one of three ways. You can put it in running water, you can wrap it in a cloth and bury it, or you can burn it. The idea being that any of those three methods will destroy the book. And then, of course, there is a little incident where Uthman gathered up all the Qurans in the world, at least according to legend, and saw that they all said different things, that none of them agreed with one another. So he said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come up with one authoritative version and burn all the rest. There must have been hundreds of Qurans in that bonfire that he had to dispose of those corrupt Qurans. So it seems that Muslims are very happy to burn Qurans. So I'm not quite sure why they get so upset when someone burns a Quran in protest. After all, you know, the version that they are likely burning was created in 1923. Not exactly authentic to the prophet, right? It's an inauthentic Quran. It has been created by a committee deciding which words to put in the Quran. That is not authentic. That is not a correct Quran. It should be disposed of like, well, any Quran, really, because also the content, right? But I'm just saying from an Islamic perspective here, I don't know why they have such a problem when someone says this Quran is horrible. It doesn't have the right words in it. It burns it.
Exactly. Oh, nice and warm.
Man, you
that's
really boosted that fire there.
Oh yeah, you need to get going again. Get some airflow in it, get it moving. So
Now,
I
just
got
to
another
be
one.
clear,
Good.
oh, I just wanted to clarify. Thaddeus, you said according to legend. Can you tell us more about where those legends come from, just in case anybody might
Oh yeah,
misinterpret
yeah,
that?
yeah. I should definitely specify there because I would call it a legend. But to a Muslim, this is sacred history, right? This is beyond question that this is exactly what happened because it comes from their canonical histories, their canonical hadith collections that contain the authentic sayings of Muhammad. Now, you're not allowed to question these. They are on virtually the same level as the Quran. And they declare that this happened. This isn't like some Christian came up with this story to make Islam look bad. No, this is the story that Muslims came up with, probably to explain why all their Qurans are different from one another. And thus they created this story and put a solution in. You know, the authorized version was approved by the rightly guided caliph. So if you're not using that version, then your version, which varies because oral transmission is very poor in reality, despite Muslims telling us it's beyond any chance of fallibility. In reality, it's quite poor to transmit a text orally for a couple centuries before you decide to write it down. So they tell us, they come up with a story to explain the variants and a solution to those variants. And then when we point this story out, Work said, oh, you're just Islamophobic. You're making stuff up. You're talking about the history of Christianity, not Islam. Yeah, except the Christian text has always been transmitted by written text. Weird.
So I got another Quran here to put on, but it's a bit of a unique one. You might like to demonstrate it here. Probably demonstrate it on the other camera that I have. Here, it's one of my favorite ones, but I think for this situation, it deserves to be burnt. So I think this is a good sacrifice for it. If you can't tell, is a very holy Quran. I'm holding it down in the other screen here. I'm going to pop it on up here. This one was made just yesterday, but you guys will figure out why it was made that way later. In fact, I was planning on doing a video, a short version on that today, until I got up this morning and saw the news. So
Don't get rid of. Yeah, it looked very pretty watching the fire burn behind it. So if we can just get a few more minutes of that,
very
so
pretty.
pretty. And it's very representative too of, if you look into the Quran, you will see where it leads. It leads to hellfire. I could definitely watch that on the TV. Nice, cozy with a blanket.
Leave it to my wife to find metaphor in anything. Okay. Well, time to die. I mean, this thing has. That's the backside of it. Whew. This thing was really punched through there. So.
Can't wait to see what you hit that with.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Oh. Sorry, almost forgot my accelerant there. I need to grab my alcohol.
That's haram.
Gotta do it right. Oh.
Is it though? Maybe Allah made it. Maybe Allah served it.
Mm-hmm. Well, according to some verses of the Quran, Allah has given it for humans' benefit, alcohol.
Oh, it's definitely going to be my benefit. Open it up. Oh, there we go. That didn't take long at all. a second here. Let me reposition. Light. Okay. Whew. Sorry about that. Smoke's going right towards my face. Now I'm inhaling the words of Allah. I didn't know
That
that
should make you immune, right?
This should make me very immune. I should be holy now. I'm now a holy person. I've inhaled the words of Allah. I have eaten them. I've eaten things cooked by them. Now I've inhaled the words of Allah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Sure
no one better
there's
come
other way
after
to
you, or
consume
they'll be participating in Quran destruction themselves.
Yeah, I'm not sure about any other ways to consume the words of Allah other than what I've already done.
Don't forget you've also exhaled the words of Allah. Whenever you've
I
recited
do.
them in Muslim context, that you've exhaled the words of Allah by reciting the Quran, and then on half you actually know what it says.
Yeah, I've inhaled, I've exhaled, I've read. Yeah, I've done more to the words of Allah than most Muslims ever imagined.
Mm-hmm. I mean, just reading them is more than most Muslims ever do. So,
that is true. And I'm surprised by that every time I have that situation with Muslims. Like, have you read it? No. I just do whatever my mom tells me to do. I'm like, guys, it's your eternal soul. Please, if you're going to stake your eternity on it, read it. Mm-hmm. Know what it actually says. Poke it. I am always surprised by how well Qurans burn.
Well, I mean, we don't know how well the eternal tablet in heaven would burn.
No. But since no one's ever actually seen it, we'll just have to burn this one.
Yep.
This version.
And of course, that one has more errors in it than any other Quran, since it has every single variant of every single verse in it. That's how they can still be called the Quran, because they're in the eternal tablet. So that one, you know, Allah must have just been like constantly correcting himself. Like, no, oh, I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say this. Yeah, I gotta change my mind again. And then for some reason, even though he had all of eternity to get it right before he revealed it to Muhammad, he just revealed all of his false starts and stops. And every time he sent Gabriel to talk to him, gave him different words to say for the same exact teaching. Very strange stuff. I don't know what Allah was thinking, but he must be right because he is Allah after all. So I guess that's just the beauty of the Quran that I don't understand. Because to me, the perfect book probably shouldn't have 2 different versions or 100 different versions, as is more accurate for the Quran, where different dialects means one word is changed. And it has nothing to do with dialect, and it completely changes the meaning of the verse. But hey, what do I know? I'm not an Arabic speaker. I'm not a native speaker of Arabic. Of course, no Muslim is a speaker of Muhammad's language either. But that's not the point. The point is that it's in Arabic, and we're speaking in English, so we can't really say anything about it. We just have to blindly accept that our imam, who also doesn't speak Arabic, has the correct teaching about what it says.
I don't know if that is. I'm sure there's a very easy answer here. I mean, maybe the eternal word of Allah isn't eternal. Maybe the eternal word of Allah isn't from Allah. Maybe the eternal word of Allah is from a drunk Allah. Maybe he hit his wine too hard. Or those grapes in Jannah were a bit too fermented. Maybe Muhammad was just making stuff up as he went and had to keep changing his mind. Uh, since, abrogation doesn't make sense from an eternal point of view, there seems to be plenty of easy answers. I'm not sure, why to be so critical when we have so many different options.
Yeah,
And
yeah, there is that. But if we accept any of those, then we would have to apostatize from Islam, and the penalty for that is death. So I think we should just accept that, despite all of the many, many questions that there's absolutely no answers to, that even the expert Yasser Qadi says there is no possible explanation for this. We just have to believe. We should just accept it so that we don't get a death penalty.
so I was gone because there was a minor medical emergency next door, and had to wash the blood off after I finished. But that
That sounds
reminded
good.
me of how clearly Allah's priorities are divine. Because if I were an Islamic woman, there would be no case in which I could go next door and help the husband, who was one who was home, with this medical emergency and get everything settled so he could go to emergency services with the individual he's going with. I could not have done that. Do you know why? Because it is more important to Allah that women stay contained and controlled, because their only purpose is for the sexual satisfaction of men. Specifically, supposedly their own husbands, right? That's the only thing that they exist for. And so he just would have had to figure it out himself without any help. And that's just an example of the sorts of, like, the picture that you have of Islam, the picture of priorities. The picture of priorities, the number one priority is Muhammad's personal lust and preferences above all. Second is Umar's prejudices. And they say this comes from God.
I do have to. Oh, go ahead, Thaddeus.
I was going to say I would say it comes from a God. Perhaps the God that the Bible calls the God of this world. Just saying. Can't believe you don't acknowledge the God behind Islam.
Yep.
Lowercase g, for sure. Very lowercase.
Let's take a look at the chat. I've been on the other side, so I haven't seen any of the chat that's going on. What do you guys think so far of what's going on? What has happened? What are your thoughts?
I like Protestant believers' comment. Dracula, junk on Abdul blood.
What was his comment?
Sorry, did you not hear me read it?
No, I did not.
I said Dracula, Abdul blood.
I wonder if that's Abdul with O negative or O positive.
So, Mary, you definitely brought up some good points. It is very important to call out how evil Islam is, how evil Muhammad was. Really, the origin of Islam, if Muhammad actually even existed at all, which is a whole nother story. But certainly, Islam is evil from its beginning all the way to its end, and everything in between. But I do want to correct you because you said, that women are made, for their husbands. But I don't think that's the only thing that women are made for in Islam. I mean, you can't forget about all the women who already have husbands who are taken captive by Muslims.
Oh, sorry.
who
They're
get
Muslim
rape them in
masters.
front of their husbands.
Yeah. They're Muslim owners. Let's put it that way. They're Muslim owners because in Islam there is no proper marriage. There is a contract of purchase, which is considered Islamically to be another form of slavery in which a woman's sexual access is bought. So if you're a slave, it's your sexual access that is also part of that.
And the law even needs to curse the women who do not sleep with their husbands.
So a woman came to Muhammad because her husband was raping her during the daytime when she wanted to fast. Because women are religiously handicapped because they're not allowed to participate in Islamic things that get you your benefits when they're menstruating. And Muhammad said that will send them to hell. So because you're forbidden to pray while you're menstruating, you're behind the ball and most of you are going to hell. And that is a big part of why you're all going to hell is because I have forbidden you to pray while you're menstruating. So she wants to make this time up by doing extra recitations of extra surat whenever she prays. And she also wants to make this up by fasting during the day as much as possible. Well, remember that the fast ends as soon as nightfall comes. But her husband is such a dog that he cannot allow her to fast during daylight hours because sex breaks the fast. He can't wait till nightfall. So she tries to fast, he rapes her over and over again. She tries to recite another surah, it annoys him, so he beats her. And what does Muhammad say? He says that she is wrong, that women cannot fast without their husband's permission because maybe their husbands want to have sex with them during the day. So women need to go to hell forever because they can't make up what they're missing from menstruation and everything that he ordained, because it's more important that their husbands get their noontime sex than it is for the women to not go to hellfire forever. That is how little women are worth, according to Muhammad, the false prophet and dog of Islam.
So the fire's starting to die again. So I've got another one here. This one has also got a bunch of holes in it, drilled in by something, which may or may not come out later on. I do need to make a mention. A couple of live streams ago, we had a Muslim come on and share some inappropriate material. Luckily, I was able to censor that out pretty quickly, so it wasn't an issue. But he did attempt it, so there is a response video coming out for that. And I think from now on, if that occurs or anything else along those lines happens again, I think we're going to play a little bit of a game from now on called the Wheel of Wheel of Destruction. And we will find out which video we get to play based upon a random spinning wheel. So that ought to be fun if that occurs again. Now, Muslims, for that content never to be seen by non-Muslims or by Muslims, all you have to do is be civil. All the live stream was about that the Muslims posted that on, because I was inviting them to come join, give their perspective, was did Muhammad order his followers to pray to him? That was it. I asked a question and invited Muslims to come on. No Muslim was willing to talk. No Muslim was willing to go there, but they were willing to go there and try to shut down the live stream so that no one would see it.
Why do they always have gay porn on their computers?
I don't know. It's just
like
their thing.
It's just right there at their fingertips. They're like, hey, I know what to post. This gay porn from my computer that I was just watching.
I mean,
it was very clear that's what he did.
But if they're supposed to imitate Muhammad, we know how much Muhammad loved Dia al-Kabi. I mean, sorry, the angel Gabriel, with his head on his lap. But it's probably something else. Probably another reason.
I want to get your hopes up. Gotta grab this. So
Well, and we also see like that in Islam, it seems to be a trend within even Islamic leaders. I mean, we see one of Hamas's largest leaders was also accused of being in a gay relationship, just as Muhammad was in a gay relationship, at least one that we know about. But then again, actually, at least three that we know about, because he couldn't stay away from his two grandsons either. He couldn't keep their tongues or their other personal, very, very personal parts out of his mouth. So that's concerning. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Also, another concern is throughout history, we see that Allah is like a beardless boy, and they're supposed to picture Allah. And so we've seen throughout history that Muslims will stare at little boys. And I mean, when you've got such a false prophet that you follow, who, when he's around little boys, can't help but suck on them, uh, there is a red flag already concerning what the people who are following Muhammad might do to the little boys they're staring at all day, every day, too. And we see how that turned out for them, too.
Keep your grandson's tongue out of your mouth. That's all I got to say about that.
I am about to head off to Bible study, but before I go, I would like to read from a passage that we are going to study today. And let's compare this to Muhammad, who claims that he worships the same God as Jesus. So, the one who believes in the Son of God has the testimony in himself. The one who does not believe God has made him a liar, because he has not believed in the testimony that God has given concerning his Son. And his testimony is this, that God has given us eternal life, and this life is his Son. The one who has the Son has life. The one who does not have the Son of God does not have the life. So, and these things I have written for you to believe in the name of the Son of God, so that you may know that you have eternal life. Does Muhammad have eternal life? Or is he, even now, suffering a foretaste of what will be his for the rest of eternity?
It's kind of hard to have the Son of God when you say that Allah has no son. Just to point that out. And claiming that Jesus was just a prophet, even though Jesus himself clearly condemned what Islam is, even before Islam was. So,
Yep.
no.
And in parting, I will give the last verse of the book. Little children, guard yourself from idols, including the pagan black stone and Muhammad's sock puppet god.
And she gone? Okay. That wasn't parting. So, yep. Plain and simple. Unfortunately, this situation has occurred. His death was unfortunate. Even made worse because he was not saved, to my knowledge. Which he could have always repented at the last second, but I don't know. It seemed unlikely. So. Now we're here, sitting around campfire, burning Qurans.
Mm-hmm. Hope you're staying warm.
It's actually keeping quite warm out here. I was pretty surprised. Even though it's way back there, it still feels pretty warm. Daughter said, darn, he wasn't saved. Yeah, to my knowledge, not.
And Muslims, again, we do not want you to die following a false god. We do not want you to burn. We'll burn your book. Your book is evil. But we are calling you, turn away from evil. Turn away from the false God, quote, Allah. Turn away from the false prophet, Muhammad, and turn to Jesus Christ, who is God, who is the eternal word of God, that the Quran actually affirms while trying to deny. Islam proves itself false, proves Christianity true. Reject Islam, turn to Christ, the true Christ.
Yep. And when this happens, when you guys choose to take violence over mercy and choose to want them to perish, and it's crazy because we went through some of the Twitter comments from Muslims just a little bit ago. I know I have some more here that I probably can find pretty easily. I'll pull those up if possible. And they're joyful about it. They're rejoicing that this has happened. They're rejoicing that this horrendous act has occurred. And I would be just as upset if a Muslim were to have died. Because in the end, it's the same. If they're atheists, if they're Muslim, if they're non-Christian, anything, their death means they go to hell. And that is horrendous. So looking at straight to hell, disrespectful guy. That's one of the Muslims on X. He just found out the eternal cost of his actions. From another one. Here's one definitely celebrating it. Eid has come early. And so forth.
That's a really strange comment.
What, Eid has come early?
Yeah, because Eid is like the ceremony where they sacrifice animals and stuff. Are they suggesting they're going to eat his corpse?
Ooh. Well, I wouldn't put it past them. Some Muslims definitely, some of the weird stuff Muhammad did. Right up there with camel urine. Ugh.
Did you see the super chat?
Let's see. Yeah, I was just about ready to bring it. Go ahead, hon.
So Francis Bull says the intolerant barbarians want tolerance while ending lives. Unless this demonic cult is not projected in its reality, it'll keep deceiving people.
Absolutely. 100% could not agree more. I gotta go poke the Quran.
Thank you so much for your support, by the way, Francis.
Call me crazy, but if we were actually tolerant of Islam, shouldn't we be tolerant of what it actually teaches instead of lying about what it teaches to pretend that we're tolerant of something that doesn't exist? I mean, to me, if you want to be tolerant of Islam, you want to be accepting of Islam, you should be accepting of what it actually teaches, not pretend it teaches something you wish it taught. Just me, though. Just me.
I like daughter's comment. She said, now I understand what it means when evil will be called good and good evil. And that's a reference from the Bible. But that is exactly what's happening. It's good is being called evil and evil is being called good. And Islam is one of the biggest proponents of this. The biggest, I guess, mass proponents in the sense of recruiting others to do the same. It's certainly not the only, but it really is so evil.
Absolutely.
And Protestant believer, I think, is responding to what you said, Thaddeus, which is really important what you said. And he adds on, not going to be tolerant of a head hunting cult.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the implication, right? When people pretend that Islam teaches something different, is that what it actually teaches is not something they could ever be tolerant of, right? It's not something they could just live side by side in with peace and just pretend that we can all get along and whatnot, because they would be, the people saying that would be just as much opposed to the kind of things that Islam actually teaches, like killing of apostates, for example. They wouldn't say we got to be tolerant of their law to kill apostates. No, that's not what they mean at all. So then they're not tolerant of anything that actually exists, right? They say they're tolerant, but they're demeaning the Muslim, really, by saying that we know what your religion teaches better than you do. So really, it's to me, it's a bigger insult, right? To say I'm tolerant of this fake Islam, which I know you actually believe in, even though you say you don't, than to just say, no, I disagree. What your religion teaches is wrong. No, I can still live peacefully with someone, right? I can live peacefully with someone who I disagree with and say you're wrong. Now, obviously, if they try to put the death penalty into place, well, then we can't live peacefully anymore. But if they just sit around and they say, oh, well, we can't actually do that because, we don't have enough power, or that this is modern times or whatever. Yeah, we could live peacefully, but we can live peacefully in disagreement. Tolerance doesn't mean I accept your beliefs.
Yes, you can have disagreements without wanting to kill someone. Plain and simple. And you don't have to tolerate
we
people
strongly
who want to kill
disagree with
people.
what happened yesterday, right? But we're not killing anyone over it.
Nope. Just what they wanted to stop has become more common.
Mm-hmm.
It happened a lot because of their actions. Now, according to the Quran, they are now partially responsible for each one of the Qurans that I burned here today. Because of their actions.
And that will continue.
Yep. Because without their actions, I wouldn't have done this. I had another video planned for today. And the live stream earlier today about the book. But nope. I'm out here burning Qurans at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I would have never participated in any kind of Quran desecration as of a few years ago. Like, it's not something that would ever even crossed my mind in a million years. And then I start talking about Islam. And then I get people threatening me. It's like, how do I deal with those threats? Should I just back down and not say anything else about Islam? What lesson would that teach? What if instead I responded in kind, right? You say that you're going to track me down, kill me, and rape my wife. How about I, take something that's important to you and rip it up, spit on it, chew on it, whatever, right? And then, strangely, all these people, don't see it so much these days, but in the past, all these Christians would be like, oh, that's so horribly, that's the worst thing you could possibly do. Now no Muslim will ever come to Christianity. But you should have just shut up and been docile and prayed for them. But strangely, when I respond this way, almost every Muslim backs down because they don't want to be responsible for the desecration of a Quran. Nope. I don't know. Seems to work to me.
Seems to be very, very effective. And again, we're not doing it willy-nilly. We're not doing it, because we just felt like burning the Quran today. That's why we're doing this. No, we're doing this because of their actions have consequences. I don't know why their fathers never taught them this very basic principle. But your actions have consequences. And if you really want something not to happen, maybe you shouldn't take actions that make people want to do it. Just saying. Seems like a no-brainer to me, but I mean, that's just me.
I mean, as far as their father teaching them that actions have consequences, their spiritual father a lot has taught them that their actions only have consequences if they're exposed and that they should cover up each other's actions. And, it's actually a good thing if you conceal other people's evils and allow them to continue committing evil without the world knowing. And we see this a lot, especially like with the UK rape gangs and people not wanting these things to get exposed, and how they say they'll be rewarded, in fact, for allowing evil to keep being perpetrated, or perpetuated, I mean. But actions do have consequences, and ultimately in Christianity, we see that our actions, our sin, has the consequence of death, but that Christ didn't leave us there, just condemned forever, but that he offered his own life for our sins. So again, I know I keep saying this, but Muslims, you need to take your eternity seriously. This is why we're here. And also, as far as what Thaddeus was saying about people who will say, oh, well, why don't you just pray for them? I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I certainly do pray for Muslims too. In fact, I pray for Muslims in my live streams. I pray for Muslims in my videos. I pray for Muslims even during this live stream, just not audibly. So, and even when no live streams are happening that I am a part of or watching or anything, I pray for Muslims. I've taught others to pray for Muslims. It really is so important. We care about you so much. We're not just here to hate. We're here to try to end the hate of Islam.
Amen.
Whole video of Muslims laughing at his death. If you have that, buddy, send that along. If you have that link, we could react to it live here. It would be poetic. Go to live stream here. So it'll stop it, but should let me allow it through if I see your comment with the link in it. So if you have the link to it, please share it with us so we can take a look at it. I've been running all over the place trying to get things set up for this live stream, the s'mores, all of that wonderful stuff. I have not had a lot of time to look into all the reactions other than what I saw this morning. So this here. There we go. Okay, much better. So I've got another one here. This is actually, I think, our last Quran for the night. Yep. There's our last Quran for the night. Again, bit of a holy Quran. Let's see again. Yes, I'm getting some double duty out of this Quran. Let me open up the first page here and shine it on through. Very interesting holes. Very specific holes. Nice grouping, if I do say so myself, but that's just me. That's my opinion. And I'm sticking to it. So let me go ahead and grab the alcohol because I need the alcohol.
As many holes as that Quran may have in it, it's still not as HOLEY, holy, as the standard Islamic narrative is. Certainly, the Quran is not HOLY, as some may claim, but it is holy in the other sense.
Real good. Walk that on down. There we go. Fantastic.
Looking good.
And to those of you that may have been a little concerned about what I just did, I used the hand. I put the Quran down there with the hand that was not holding the Quran when it was alcohol covered. So I was never going to catch myself on fire. Just to make sure my wife doesn't freak out about that, or the comment section freak out. Okay, did we get that link? Sorry, I was gone burning a Quran.
While you're trying to figure that out,
Islamic channel.
I see. Thaddeus asked about a link.
Put
And
a link
yeah,
on there.
that is the link. Thaddeus got the correct link.
Oh, you got the video? Sweet. Let me see if I can set it up here. Considering I am doing this at night outside. Uh-oh. Oh, no, I'm fine. Panicked myself for a second. I looked at the YouTube video and I paused it earlier. Now I saw myself not moving. I was like, oh no, I lost something already, or I messed it up somehow. Now we're good. We're good. So let me see here. Do I hear it? No, I do not. Okay.
So I know you clarified earlier about which hand you used to put the Quran in the fire, but I just want to clarify, was it your left hand or right hand? Because, it'd be very disrespectful of you to handle the Quran at any point with your left hand. And I know you said you used both hands, one with alcohol and one without.
So, when I was putting the Quran in the fire, I was using my right hand.
Okay, good.
Fill in the
You were
blank
being
with the other hand.
Well,
Okay, here we
still
go.
more
So let's go ahead. So let's see here what he's got. So I've got that video pulled up. We can go ahead and review it while we're watching the wonderful Qurans burn behind us, fulfilling a better purpose than ever before by keeping me warm.
Mm-hmm. And light. Heat and light.
Today we're going to be talking about some breaking news. As we can see here, top stories, Quran burner Salwan Momika shot dead in Sweden. So this individual...
Now, before we continue, can everyone hear it?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, fantastic.
Here, as we can see, he is being eulogized as a Quran burner. All of these different articles are just talking about how this individual is by and large known for the fact that he would burn the Quran. He would set up anti-Islam campaigns and basically try to upset Muslims and be as provocative as possible. And he would do things like this outside of the mosque on the greatest holiday of the year for Muslims, Eid al-Adha. Now, before reaching Europe, it said that he was a war criminal that led an Iranian-backed militia in Iraq, which operated as a death squad. And here, there's very graphic footage that I can't show, but this is him here. So this is the history and the reality of Salwan. But then we can see that he fled to Europe, and he would just do the most provocative things that he could possibly do. Here he is, stepping on a Quran, flying the Israeli flag, just obviously trying to...
Oh my gosh.
Trying to upset them. But he is not alone in this sort of behavior, because there is an entire industry of people that make their careers provoking Muslims, lying about Islam, trying to...
Wait, he's not alone in burning the Quran?
Well,
this is news to
I
me.
like that he's doing the worst thing you could do. He's holding up an Israeli flag. Us Muslims, we would never hate anyone so much by holding up a flag.
I know.
No,
I wanted
never, ever.
Well, because even Allah affirmed the children of Israel, the children of Israel, the children of Israel. So isn't that in line with Islam to celebrate Israel? Or am I just off on that somehow?
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're right on. You know, Allah seems to have one opinion of Israel, and Muslims today seem to have a different one. It's almost like they don't read their scriptures that they then get mad about when people talk about what's in them or show them or, you know, burn them. But maybe you should at least figure out what's in it before you get mad about people talking about it or, you know, being part of the industry of anti-Islamic haters. Man, how's that feel to be a part of this industry, Al?
Wait, hold on.
You just
Do I
rake
get
it in the
paid for this?
dollars?
Hey, yeah, industry means I get paid. I didn't know I got paid for this. I was just doing it voluntarily.
Well, I do pay
I'm getting
you.
gypped.
I do pay you $2 or $3 a month to be a member of your channel, so you are being paid.
That's true. But technically, it's not because I burned the Quran. They are paying me. So it wouldn't be
No,
part of
that's
that
true. It's
industry.
not. No.
Wait, but if you
Yeah.
pay him, doesn't that mean you're losing money over it?
Yeah, I know. I'm part of this industry, but I pay people in the industry, I guess. That's how we make money, right? Is that we just pass it around in a circle? And that it gets bigger when we do that. And, you know, I have made it like literally, I have like netted literally tens of dollars from my YouTube channel over 5 years. Obviously, this is a very productive, lucrative career that people are getting into just to make lots of money.
Yeah, considering the Qurans are so expensive.
Yeah, that's
They're not
true.
cheap.
Just the number of Qurans you've burned on this channel alone is probably like more than the revenue that you collected in an entire year.
Oh, sounds about right.
Just gross revenue, not even net.
But plus, I mean, think about the money that was spent on those Qurans, the source that money went to. Sounds like we're actually losing money to Muslims in order
So
to prove Islam.
the anti-Islamic industry is propping up Quran selling stores. That's odd. Maybe we need to rethink this industry. I don't think we have a very good game plan here. Like, we're making 10 cents an hour and then spending all that money in Muslim stores. Something's not adding up here.
It's almost like we care
think
more.
about it too logically.
It's almost like we care more about the schools than the cents.
Yeah, you know, I bet you, I don't know Sajid's finances. I don't know if his channel's monetized or whatnot, but I bet you he's made far more off of his channel with 199,000 subscribers than everyone on this stream, including Mary, who is no longer here, has combined in their lifetime. He's probably made more in the last month than we all have combined in our lifetimes. Yet we're a money-loving industry that only exists for money, and he's just doing this out of the kindness of his heart, I guess.
Yeah.
To portray Islam negatively, essentially trying to incite the Muslims to do something. For example, here we see David Wood, who is one of these people. For years, David Wood has been doing things like this, trying to be as disrespectful as possible toward Muslims. Here he has a picture where he presumably urinated on pages of the Quran. And he's literally trying to incite violence against himself. What did he write? He wrote, "Come get me, cowards." And he has been behaving like this for years. This is his career, to the extent that he is supposedly this Christian apologist.
Hold on a second. Did he just call all Muslims cowards? This Muslim here? Technically speaking, he didn't say Muslims at all. David didn't say Muslims at all in this picture. So he's assuming that he's talking about Muslims, calling them cowards. So just don't jump to conclusions.
I mean, there's not enough detail on that photo to tell what it is. I mean, we can make an assumption it's a Quran page, but it could be anything. Right? Not enough details to zoom in and see what words are on that page.
Yet his main collaborator is not even a Christian. It's an atheist or perhaps an agnostic ex-Muslim whose career is also all about bashing Islam, trying to be as disrespectful as possible towards Muslims. He says he ordered dozens of Qur'ans. They will be burned in honor of Salwan. So there is an entire industry, and there has been for a long time, where people's entire lives and careers are dedicated to being as disrespectful as possible toward Muslims, spreading lies about Islam, trying to antagonize Muslims, trying to instigate something to happen. And then if and when something does happen, they then use it to try and justify their existence. But they can't even do that honestly. So, for example, Amy Mack.
Yes.
A few things on this. First of all, when I saw the photo that says "Come get me, cowards" this morning, it was posted in response to someone who is actually making a death threat against AP. Now, he may have posted it separately and then shared it again, specifically in that situation. I'm not sure, but again, there's a huge difference between posting something that's not threatening someone else's life, but saying, all right, you know, you want to come get me, whatever. And the Muslims who were literally threatening people's lives. And it's not an empty threat because this whole situation is in response to a man's life being taken, right? A man who was being threatened for as long as he's been doing what he's been doing. And also, there is another discrepancy I'd like to point out, and that's that David Wood has not been, to my knowledge at least, trying to be. It's just.
I cannot hear you. Did you drop out?
Yeah, I think she dropped.
You guys can't hear me?
Why is my internet better?
We heard David, to the best of my knowledge, David Wood hasn't, and then we didn't hear anything else.
Da, da, da.
Uh-oh. Okay. And it looks like my phone's about to die too, but I will at least add this in and then try to get this on the charger. To my knowledge, David Wood hasn't gone around trying to be as disrespectful to Muslims as possible. David Wood has been disrespectful to Islam. He has zero obligation in Christianity to respect an evil ideology straight from hell, straight from Satan, that leads to hell. No obligation whatsoever to be respectful towards Islam. But even Muslims themselves have commented on how respectful David Wood has been to them. David Wood is very respectful to Muslims. David Wood loves Muslims, and not just in an emotional love, but he shows his love every single day when he points out the evil ideologies of Islam, because he loves Muslims. He wants to see Muslims come to the truth of Christ and to leave the evils of Islam. So again, David Wood is not as disrespectful as possible to Muslims. No. That's a lie.
Hey, hon,
That's a very good point.
Can you bring me another Quran? I have another guest possibly joining us here shortly, and this one seems to be dying, so if you could grab me another Quran, that would be great.
Okay.
I might have a stack of them.
As I was going to say, that is a very good point, because people like Sajid, who is, supposedly one of the very nice and polite and friendly Muslim apologists, they don't seem to be able to distinguish between the Quran and Muslims. They don't seem to be able to distinguish between Islam and Muslims. It's almost like the Muslim people, in the eyes of people like Sajid, don't really exist as an entity, right? And that there is nothing different between a person, a human being, and the religion they hold, which I guess makes sense when your God tells you that someone deserves to be killed just because they are not a Muslim, especially if they're a pagan, right? And if they're a pagan, they don't even have an option. They just have to be killed or convert. If you're a Christian, maybe you get the amazing mercy of paying a tax and remaining Christian instead of converting. So I guess it makes sense that people like Sajid, who are, supposedly very nice and polite, can't distinguish between, say, an action done to a book and an action done to a person. To them, burning a Quran is equivalent or probably far worse, actually, than burning a human being. Interesting.
You know what one of the fun parts about this entire thing? Since we put Sajid's video on, he's going to get on head to update that we did this. That we used some of his content in our live stream. So, but
let's see if he makes a monetary claim on it.
We'll find out. Hey, Adam,
industry.
welcome.
Hello, everyone. It's such a sad day, quite frankly, that even in Sweden, a country like Sweden, this has happened. And it's just unbelievable that whatever Salwan stands for is actually true. So the teaching of Quran is so disturbing for mankind that they would kill a person. That's how it is. And yes, there was a lot of geopolitical pressure on Sweden because he did that with the permission of the police, with the permission of everybody, while they were giving him protection and everything in the middle of the street. While he did that, it was all allowed. And then Turkey, and I'm talking about Turkey, they stated stuff about him, and every other Muslim country said that. And Sweden's response was, yeah, it is immoral, maybe, but it's not illegal in our country. And then finally, you see him being shot dead before he is going to appear in court for the trial. And quite frankly, every single Muslim knew that he will be released free because he has not done any crime according to Sweden.
Yep.
And they killed him. Hence, it's a very sad day. Are you burning one as well?
Yeah, right here. Yeah, I think we burned what, like 6, 7 so far?
A few.
I don't know. I've lost count. I had some with bullet holes in it. Oh, I mean, holy
Mysterious
Quran
holes.
with me.
Holy.
Serious, wonderful holes that just happened to be there enough that I could actually put like 3 fingers through the center of a Quran, which I was pretty impressed by. It was actually one of my favorite Qurans, but I thought it would be necessary.
Yeah, one
Should
other
be
thing that
wonderful.
Quran, I don't know why people call it a holy Quran. Quran, when you read it in Arabic, I have not seen a Quran yet which would say Quran al-Muqaddas. None of them actually says that. At least in my lifetime, I have not seen one which will say Quran al-Muqaddas. Never. It says Quran al-Kareem. Al-Quran al-Kareem. It never says Quran al-Muqaddas. Muqaddas means holy. Kareem does not mean holy. So why would they actually translate something in English and then make it look like something else? Why would they even do such a thing?
Well, even according to Yasama, Quran's origin itself isn't Arabic.
No, whatever it is, it doesn't even matter, And
Yeah.
I know it's like Syrio-Aramaic, Arabic, and a lot of language combined and all that, but why would they even call it holy when it is not written on the Quran as well?
I mean, I think the answer is pretty obvious. They're trying to copy something else. They're trying to appear to be the same as something else.
So
like
I wasn't
the Holy
sure.
Bible.
Sorry. I wasn't sure which one you wanted, so I figured I'd bring 2 just in case.
So we got another one of the white Qurans here.
Do you have any in Arabic?
I did.
That one,
This is
this one
Arabic
definitely
Christian. I mean, Arabic English. Arabic Christian.
very anti-Christian. Though it does
Uh,
affirm the Christian sources,
This
surprisingly.
one here is both. I did earlier have one. I think I already burned it. Actually, no. It didn't survive yesterday. The ones I burned today did survive yesterday. So
Show me the first
Yeah.
page of it. Does it say Quran al-Muqaddas or Quran al-Kareem? What does it say?
No.
It's upside down.
It's upside down.
It's upside down, yeah.
Although The Quranic
see,
ideology is
so
very
it says Ma'ani Quran al Kareem. So it doesn't even say Muqaddas. So it doesn't even say Muqaddas. Why would they call it a holy Quran when none of their Quranic books actually calls it holy? It's a Kareem. It's a glorious Quran, but not a holy Quran. So Kareem is generous. Yeah, generous. So it is a generous Quran, not a holy Quran. MashaAllah, 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 Subhanallah. Nice burning. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. What a beautiful
This is
burning.
actually some the holiness versus generous, the Quran, is actually something that Usama Dakdok talked about at our conference as well, because this is one of the misconceptions. But the Quran certainly is not holy in that sense, as I mentioned earlier. It's just holy in holes in the narrative and holes from
If you would like to move, you can.
Quran
This is like
desecration.
smoke central here. It has been the whole time. So, just to let you know. I'm
That's,
gonna torch it.
that's a very beautiful view. Like I would. Oh wow,
Didn't even need to torch it.
nice, nice.
It spontaneously combusts.
It's on fire. So like I said, like Hatun. Have you seen the video of Hatun?
I've not.
She made a short
one?
video. She just made a short video on this topic, and she said that every single person should actually start burning the Quran, because this is what we need to do. All and every one of us. We have to do that.
Well, I will take your advice here. I just did one page. I'm inside, so I'm not going to burn a whole book. But I got one page.
Oh, when the fire,
Where?
you don't want the fire alarm going?
You are inside the room. You shouldn't do that. Inside,
Eh.
it's a fire hazard.
I'm crazy.
MashaAllah, MashaAllah, Subhanallah, Subhanallah. What a beautiful burning. What a
Again,
beautiful burning.
Muslims, we would not be doing this, but for the fact that you decided that this book here was more valuable than a person's life. You guys are the ones that decided to do that. And because of your actions, we are now burning Qurans.
Alhamdulillah.
And to answer Adam's question, no, I did not see Hatun's thing. I've been doing I've done 2 live streams today, and I had to prep for this one last second, so I haven't actually seen anything else outside of just this morning's information.
Your preparation is marvelous. Let me just say that. What a beautiful sight that I'm seeing right now.
Well, I had a bunch of crons, so
Past tense.
that helps. Yeah,
You
past
had. No, I'm gonna go to the mosques and I'm gonna get some from there, because then there you can get them for free. So I don't have to spend my own money to get them.
That's smart.
Again, I think it's so funny that Sajid is like admitting on air that David Wood, I guess, said he's gonna, or that he did buy hundreds of Qurans, and yet he's like, this, business or whatever he called it, like
Right. Industry.
industry. Yeah, the industry of buying hundreds of Qurans, which is probably hundreds more Qurans than Muslims buy, because why would you buy a book you don't even read? And the number of Muslims I've talked to who refuse to even read the Quran is insane. It's actually heartbreaking too, right? Because as Eric mentioned earlier, this is what Muslims are staking their entire eternity on, and they don't even know what it teaches. And when they're told what it teaches, they're not even supposed to ask questions about what it teaches, because it might cause disbelief. If asking questions leads to disbelief that's unresolvable, that's a huge red flag. Now, in Christianity, we see the Bible tells us that God wants us to come to him. He wants us to seek him. He says, seek me and you'll find me when you seek me with all of your heart. He says, call upon the Lord your God, and I will show you great and wonderful things you have not yet known. He wants us to bring our questions to him. In fact, that's why all of us here, it's probably at least one of the reasons all of us here are so excited about apologetics, being able to help answer these questions that others have. Because it's perfectly normal and good to ask questions, to try to explore and understand the deeper things of reality, of the Bible, of the person of Christ, and who he is, and his love. And we love being able to answer these questions and help people understand these things better. And likewise with polemics, we love being able to destroy the evil ideologies. So it's insane that Islam is so very anti-knowledge. But the knowledge it does have is that puffs up. It's not of wisdom. And we see this time and time again. Now, I am sorry that this camera is starting to get pretty
Hey, Eric, you need to fix the camera before you burn all
blurry.
of
I'm not
them.
super sure what to do about that, though.
Which one? The one that you're at?
The camera of the Quran is all just like
Mashallah, it's the miracle of Allah. Nobody can see when the Quran is
Look,
burning.
it fixed itself.
Well, it's the lighting. There wasn't enough lighting.
It's a miracle.
It's a miracle
As soon as
now.
the Quran started burning, everything's fine.
You're right.
Also-
Quran burning does fix a lot of things.
Mashallah, mashallah. Eric, I can see you can burn it pretty well.
Lots of practice.
The miracle didn't
lots of
last very
practice.
long. He's now in focus.
It lasted longer than the scientific miracles of Islam and of the Quran. I mean, after all, Muslim da'is have made it very clear they've all been debunked. Yeah?
Absolutely. And we will be watching.
Let's hope they're watching the Quran action today. I mean, I would hate to not be properly paid as part of this industry from all their views.
So we've got some comments. And this computer is covered in ash.
I've been busy.
We see knowledge is haram in Islam. Logic is haram. Knowledge is haram. All ham, or in this case, ham. All ham to Allah.
Alhamdulillah. All ham be to Allah, because the dog of Allah is so hungry. So we need to send ham to Allah.
We see daughter says AP is going to rip another L on his live stream today. LOL. I think it's hilarious because every single time that I'm watching them live stream and he pulls up his L of the Quran and they're talking about the L of the Quran, I'm like, oh, was I prophesied? Like the L of the Quran? Am I in the Quran? Which is just so funny considering Muhammad claimed to be in the Bible and clearly is not. We see Ragnar says scientific miracles, it can do fire. Username says lasted longer than the moon splitting.
That's true.
Let's see.
But I thought NASA had confirmed that the moon was once split.
No, NASA definitely denied that. Said
No,
that was dumb.
NASA found a crack on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Lobate
Yeah.
scarves. Definitely not the moon splitting. We have a request. Toplad of Aquinas says, "Can you cook bacon on that fire?"
It will be
I
so
don't think it'll
dirty.
cook very well, but we could throw some bacon on there anyway, just in case.
But it will be filled with ash and dirty ash. The bacon, you won't be able to eat it afterwards.
Yeah. But Muslims can't eat it at all because Islam is about legalism and not about love. Oop. My bad. I think I accidentally started. Hopefully you guys did not hear the video restarting. These earbuds keep popping out of my ears. My bad.
Okay.
Eric,
So I got me some marshmallows. Put the marshmallows.
don't tell me you're gonna burn them on the Quran, the Holy Quran.
Absolutely.
Oh, you missed him doing that earlier too?
No,
I'm getting hungry again.
100% halal.
halal marshmallows made out of pork.
Actually.
Pork gelatin.
Let's see. Too Many Mary says, "I'm on mute, but I'm here."
I think she just means she has her phone muted.
Houston Euler says, "Doesn't Sarah 55 make bacon halal?" Daughter says, "You better not let that fire go to waste, brother." And we have another super chat from Francis. Thank you very much. He says, "Knowledge and logic har Allah's shin hal hal creator and all-knowing Allah, unable to conceive a child without a girl hal al. Make it make sense."
So it's all about L, which is you, L, the apostolic L. So now read it again.
Oh,
Knowledge and
okay,
logic are aim. Allah's shin. Hell, L, creator and all knower. Allah, unable to conceive a child without a girl. Hal, L, makes sense.
Nice.
Houston Euler points out, oop, I clicked on the wrong thing. One of these is halal. Bacon, human blood. As we've been discussing this entire stream, it is very sad which one they consider haram.
Okay, I'm going to switch in for a second because I need to finish making this. Because I'm hungry. I haven't had dinner yet. Going straight to dessert. See, right there we go. Got the marshmallows. We got graham cracker and chocolate.
It is too bad we didn't
Don't ever waste a good campfire.
we didn't get some pork hot dogs.
There we go. Hey, I can only do so much. I'm not sure I'd even eat a pork hot dog over that. I don't think it's getting that hot. Words of Allah are not that hot.
They're not that cool either.
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
Now you are making my mouth being watered by you eating it all alone.
Well, let's just make this a little bit more thorough here. There we go. Okay, so you go. Mm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
That's no
Perfect.
fun. You eating it all alone.
If you're here, you could share it with me.
Next time when
Yummy,
you do
yummy.
that, send your address in public. Okay.
Yeah, you sound
Good
like the
plan.
Muslims commenting, send me address.
Send me address. If you're not coward, send me address. Why? You're not going to show up here anyway. There's no way you're paying for the plane ticket. Guarantee you're not in the U.S.
Oh, there are so
Also
many in
not
US, you know that, right? Thankfully, Trump is
Yep.
throwing them out, all the illegal. So
Untainted. See, I share. I give my wife untainted chocolate. Leave the tainted stuff
Mm.
myself.
Quran free.
Quran free, 100% Quran free.
Quran free life is much better, to be fair. I do like Quran free better. But we do need to use it to destroy it, both physically, when necessary, of course, but also spiritually, which is always necessary when it rivals the truth, because Jesus is the truth. All that to say, Quran free chocolate for the win. I'm gonna jump back on the other screen. But, it was nice to see you guys all physically. Hopefully, I will hear you guys here again shortly.
Oh. So, okay. I'm going to rewind the video because we're not done with the video yet. Share the video again. So he has to, so Saja gets a update on us.
Mhm.
Put that back. Thank you very much. Did you go steal my earphone? Not very nice. Let's go ahead and see what else he has to say on this. Talking about the industry of Quran burning that we are participating in tonight.
Mhm.
Because non-Muslims, they respect Muslims are peaceful people. That's why they get away with it for so many years. In fact, if they would literally
Whoa,
I don't know
whoa.
how
into their
long
own
she played.
hands and doing these sorts of things, in fact, this is what these people want. I mean, he's
I
literally
think you're only at
writing.
like 2.5, 3 minutes. And now you're at 7.5 somehow.
Yeah, let's rewind a bit here and see what goes on. We might have to react to some, but okay.
Things up and to lie just in order to push their agenda. She doesn't know what this was. She doesn't know who did it. She doesn't know why they did it.
Wow, you're right. We are so far ahead. See, this is what happens when my wife takes over my computer. Things change, man. Things go everywhere.
He burned in honor of Salwan. So there is an entire industry, and there has been for a long time, where people's entire lives and careers are dedicated to being as disrespectful as possible toward Muslims, spreading lies about Islam, trying to antagonize Muslims, trying to instigate something to happen. And then if and when something does happen, they then use it to try and justify their existence. But they
Can you
can't
please
even do
pause
that
it?
honestly. So, for example, Amy Meck, I really don't know who she is. All I know is that every time she comes up on my feed, she's spreading some sort of lie and
Amy
Okay.
Meck, but someone he doesn't know about, but oh no, it comes up on his feed all the time.
Yeah, before we go to
Nothing.
that part, I want to talk about the previous part that he said.
Go ahead.
So he actually said that constantly. What's his words? Can you go back to exact words? So I don't want to misrepresent him. So can you go back to constantly what doing, mocking somebody else's faith and all? What did he say? Like, come on, give me the exact words, because that's why where I said please pause it and you move forward.
Okay, here.
but they can't even do that honestly. So, for example,
No,
Amy
go
Meck,
back, go back before
Look.
Amy Mac. Yeah, before Amy Mac.
entire lives and careers are dedicated to being as disrespectful as possible
Okay,
toward
stop.
Muslims, spreading lies.
Disrespect. Like, come on. Once again, this is a lie. Any non-Muslim, ex-Muslim, they are not disrespecting Muslims. They are disrespecting the stupid, idiotic ideology of Muhammad, which has been taught in Sunnah and the Quran. And that is legal in every aspect of human existence, where humans have the freedom to say or do if it does not harm another human being. Like, for example, burning of the Quran. It does not harm another human being. Like, but at the same time, why can't he understand? But he cannot understand. He has a beard and he is a Muslim, so he obviously cannot understand that Quran inherently disrespect each and every single ideologies on this planet Earth. Each and every one of them. So how can he say something where his own Quran actually says the same thing? For example, Quran chapter number 8, verse number 22, 23. Allah made non-Muslims dumb, blind, deaf, and they'll be burning in hell. Why would Allah say such a thing which he accepts? So according to him, every single non-Muslim is a dumb fool. 62:5, Quran chapter number 62, verse number 5. Donkeys. Allah calls everyone donkey. 74:50 is similar. Allah is calling everybody donkey. 74, verse 49 to 50. Also, everyone is called donkeys. Chapter number 25, verse number 44. Everyone is like kettles, like sheeps, cows. What about dog? No. That's specifically for Jews, by the way. And then everyone else. Quran chapter number 2, verse number Quran chapter 7, verse number 176. Dogs. How about worst of all creatures? 855. Or how about Jews and Christians are the worst of all living beings? Quran chapter number 98, verse number 6. So the book, the so-called holy book, which Salwan actually burned, actually says all of this. And I'm not even talking about the verses where Allah says, go and kill the infidels. I'm just talking about how derogatory remarks this book is giving, let alone killing everyone. So why would anybody, why does he say that somebody else is saying something against them, whereas their own book says this to every single individual on planet Earth? Does that make sense, Eric, in any way or form, for him to say such a thing?
Absolutely not. No, I do have to refute you on one thing. There's nothing wrong with having a beard. Beard doesn't have anything to do with this. Just being clear.
All right, I take.
Don't throw people with beards on the bus.
I'll take that back.
Okay, good. Now that we're all good.
Okay, the beard like a goat.
Beard like goat.
Fair.
Yeah, it's got thin little beard there.
So yeah,
Well,
I had to say this. I had to clarify this point because this is so stupid what he's saying. I never said anything bad about a Muslim. Everything I say is about Muhammad and Quran and what Muhammad taught and what Muhammad did according to Quran and his hadith. So Muslims are, let me just tell you, 70% of the Muslims are ignorant, hence they are to be pitied on. You have to be pity. You have to be pitiful. You know, when you see a three-legged dog trying to cross the road and you feel pity on that kind of a dog because it has 3 legs and he can't cross the road, like 70% of the Muslims are those 3-legged puppy dog. You have to feel pity for them. The rest of the 30%, 20% of them are the ones who knows the stuff and they are lying deceivers and they are doing it for money. And they are creating the rest of the 10%, which are jihadis, and they are doing all of that in this whole world. And that's how it works. So we have to destroy this ideology from the root so that nobody can be ignorant and nobody can be a jihadi.
Well put.
Okay. Here we are. I heard a bing. So did someone join? That must be my wife. Okay. Welcome back. So yep. Okay, let's go ahead and hit some more of this real quick here.
Lies about Islam, trying to antagonize Muslims, trying to instigate something to happen. And then if and when something does happen, they then use it to try and justify their
that is
existence.
the
But they
fault
can't even do that
of the
honestly. So,
non-Muslims.
for example, Amy Mack.
Yep.
That's the
If
fault
and
of a
when it
non-Muslim.
happens.
Yeah, that's the instigate the people to kill some human being. Mashallah. So if, like the guy never said anything. He burned the Quran. That's instigating the Muslims to kill him. Wow, that is a mindset we need, brother. That's the mindset. Where does this guy lives?
I do not know.
I think he lives in the UK. I'm not
Oh,
certain.
then that's fine. He can say these kind of things against non-Muslims in UK, and he will not be put in jail. But God forbid if he was a Christian and would have said like 10% of the remarks what he said, he would have been in jail.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. The fire's starting to die down. I do want to get through this video real quick.
You are
Before
putting
you-
another one in?
Before you hit play, though, I just want to make a quick comment. I think it's funny because Muslims always used to comment, or frequently used to comment about how much more beautiful I would look with my hair covered. And Muslims, you should be happy to hear that my hair is indeed covered now. In fact, when I look at myself in the mirror after being there by the fire, I realize my hair is covered in Quranic ash. So my hair is very halal right now.
Absolutely. Got a big old pile of ash there. Multiple prawns burned. Whew. I'm going to poke it a bit more, but I'm going to hit play first.
I really don't know who she is. All I know is that every time she comes up on my feed, she's spreading some sort of lie and inciting some sort of hatred against Muslims. This post has 2.2 million views. David Wood's provocation was posted underneath this. She said, breaking, a Sharia-style execution has just unfolded in Sweden. Now, first of all, no, it hasn't. BBC reported that a man who sparked violent protests after burning the Quran has been shot dead in Sweden. He was killed in an apartment. Stockholm police said in a statement that 5 people had been arrested. So that's all that we know right now. We don't know who the 5 people were. We don't know who did this. We
Oh
don't know
my
for certain.
God!
Yeah. We don't know exactly what has done this or why this has happened. It couldn't possibly be because
It was
he
just a
going to be let
robbery.
go. It was just a robbery gone
He was-
bad.
He was doing a live stream on TikTok when he was shot dead. It's live. Idiots. Like this is
Yeah, but we don't
just
know.
so.
There we go.
Yeah, and when we do know in a few days who the exact people who perpetrated this are, is Saji's going to come out and say, oh, we do know now, everyone, it's okay to say that Muslims did it because they did. No, of course he won't. He'll just say, he'll just ignore it, right?
You'll ignore it. You'll sweep it under the rug. It's not a thing anymore. Nope. And you know, there are people that are going to claim that. We don't know exactly, just like he did. Non-Muslims who will claim that, but this is a no-brainer. It's obvious what has happened here. Just like if someone is running around stabbing people, screaming Allahu Akbar. We don't need to sit down and wonder, why is he doing this? What could be the possible reason? No.
Yeah, we have
Take 2
no
cents,
idea.
sit down and think it.
No idea why public enemy number 1 of Islam was killed.
We have this person lying, saying that a Sharia-style execution just unfolded. Like the very fact that people...
It is.
Does he not know what style means? I mean, he's going to say it's a lie because it wasn't done under Sharia law. But style means in the style that would be done under Sharia law.
Which is exactly what we see here. It is in the style that he would have had happen to him if he was under Sharia law. But here they're enacting it.
People would even think that somebody getting shot in an apartment is a Sharia-style execution shows not just how ignorant people are regarding the Sharia and Islam and Muslims, but the fact that it doesn't even register.
Guns.
It's not some random individual. This isn't just some random person who happened just to be sitting in their living room and someone broke in and shot him. And now they're calling this a Sharia law execution. No, you're taking out all the context and saying a general statement saying, see, they're all applying this. No, we're not. This is very specific.
Eric, he is right. Because under Sharia law, you would strike at the neck with a sword, not shoot with a gun. So it's completely different, totally unrelated, even though authorities believe that the most likely scenario is a state-sponsored action here.
Yep.
Totally different.
Regarding how preposterous of a statement that is. When it comes to Muslim countries that implement the Sharia, you have judges, you have trials, you have prisons, people get arrested, they get sentenced by.
No, you don't. You got angry mobs that randomly kill people because they have a dress that might have some Arabic on it. And they want to execute the person, so they start going around them. And if it wasn't for a Christian shop owner pulling that woman into their shop, she would have been killed there on the street. The Muslim woman would have been killed there on the street.
Absolutely. And the shirt says halwa, which is a dessert. And it's in
Yeah.
Pakistan. And how can you sell something in Pakistan which is disrespectful? But the people don't even know how to read Arabic. So everything that looks like an Arabic is Quran. So hence she is disrespecting Quran because her clothes says something in Arabic. They are just ignorant, illiterate, son of a gun, just like Muhammad.
No, I think he knows exactly what he's saying, and I think he knows he's just lying straight up.
No, I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about most of the Muslims. I know
Okay,
he's
yeah.
in the,
General
he
Muslim?
falls
Sure.
he falls in the 20%. He falls in the 20%.
Okay.
Judge. It's not a matter of running into apartments. That's so absurd. She continues, Salwan, an outspoken critic of Islam, was shot dead during a live broadcast. This was not just murder, it was a calculated silencing, a brutal enforcement of blasphemy laws on Western soil. And look at how quick
Absolutely.
people are to make things up.
Shut the F
Absolutely,
up.
100%. She did not
Yes.
make that up. He's claiming she made that up. I'll be right back. But no, she did not.
110% accurate statement by Amy.
Okay. Sorry, just didn't keep that Quran burning. It's cold out here at night if I don't have some fire going.
Up and to lie just in order to push their agenda. She doesn't know what this was. She doesn't know who did it. She doesn't know why they did it. She's jumping to a bunch of conclusions. And the irony is that this person was so disrespectful, and everything about him points to just how provocative he was, trying to be as nasty as possible towards Muslims, that they're just assuming, well, yeah, he was so nasty that if somebody shot him, it must have been as retaliation for just how disrespectful he was. But the reality is, we don't know yet. What did she say?
I so
specifically-
want to. It's like if I say something right now, it will be over 18, and I don't want to say that. But right now, I want to pour my heart out. You know, the Punjabi heart. I so want to pour out my Punjabi heart on him right now. But you know, man, this guy is so.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I don't think that in a few days, when it comes out that this was indeed confirmed to be motivated by Islamic teachings, I don't think Sajid's going to be posting another video saying, "I apologize, everyone. Amy was right."
No, never. Not at all. You kidding?
I mean, he's just playing on a technicality, right? He knows as well as we do exactly what motivated this attack. The chances of it being random are 1,000,000 to 1, right? Because that's probably about roughly the odds of being killed in a random act of violence are. And we have very good reason to think that a Muslim person would target him because it's right in the teachings. It's right in the example set by Muhammad. So logic tells us that, yes, technically we don't know, but 99.9999999% chance it is exactly what it looks like. And Sajid's not going to be posting in a few days when we have confirmation, oh, I was wrong. It was a Muslim after all. I said not to jump to conclusions, but now we know. So go ahead and say all the things that you were saying before. Now they're justified. No, he's not going to do that. He's just going to pretend that this was the end. That no one ever found out what happened.
Nope. No one ever found out. It'll be swept under the rug as fast as possible.
Rest in peace, my friend. You will be so very missed. Yeah, such a good friend because just like you, he loved to push a bunch of fake anti-Muslim rhetoric and be as nasty as possible. Alex Jones then quote tweeted her and said, "Islam will destroy the West if not contained." Now, I guess it's a good thing that most people already know that Alex Jones is completely off his rocker and untrustworthy, but it just goes to show how birds of a feather flock together. Alex Jones, the same guy that referred to the tragic Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting as a hoax.
The problem is that we have to have 20,000 people talking about this. We have to have every single corner talking about this, so that this cunning, deceptive dog should know, but he will not know because he is a cunning and deceptive dog. He is justifying a murder. Son of a khanzir.
2012, a nightmare became reality to say the least, where a shooter went to an elementary school and killed 20 children and 6 adult staff members. The shooting had barely happened when Alex Jones began pushing the falsehood that it was a hoax. Victims' families who sued Jones said they were subjected to years of torment, threats, and abuse by people who believed the lies told on his show. One father said conspiracy theorists urinated on his 7-year-old son's grave and threatened to dig up the coffin. Testifying in the Texas case, Jones acknowledged in 2022 that the shooting was 100% real and that it was absolutely.
Yeah, shift the narrative. If you haven't noticed by this point in the video, he's shifted the narrative from what actually happened, the execution, the Sharia law execution, to this. He wants to prove that this guy's nuts. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with this. Anyone can say something true. Plain and simple.
Absolutely irresponsible to call it a hoax. And therefore, he was sentenced to pay $1.1 billion of Sandy Hook damages. So this confirmed liar, known for spreading such misinformation, is trying to fearmonger about Islam destroying the West. I mean, maybe after his lawsuit, he's scared to get creative with his conspiracy theories nowadays. I mean, he can pretty much rest assured that attacking Islam and Muslims isn't going to get him in any trouble. But I mean, he is supposed to be the epitome of a conspiracy theorist. Why are you going?
It just might get you executed during a live stream in your apartment. That's what criticizing Islam would possibly do. Obviously, that's what he's talking about right now.
Yeah, it is.
He's so blind to that he's not connecting the dots.
He is not, he is not blind. He is actually preaching the same thing, that you stop doing this or you will be done the same. That's what he is preaching. He's inciting the Muslims to do that to everyone who does this. That's what he's inciting. He knows exactly what he's speaking.
Just assume nowadays. I mean, he can pretty much rest assured that attacking Islam and Muslims isn't going to get him in any trouble. But I mean, he is supposed to be the epitome of a conspiracy theorist. Why are you going to just assume that this guy was killed by a Muslim? It's not like this guy was doing Sweden and the non-Muslims there any favors. I mean, most people want to just live peaceful lives and get along with everyone. They don't make it their lives.
Wait. Did he just literally say that if he was doing favors for the Muslims, he would still be alive?
No, technically, he's suggesting that maybe the Swedish government had him killed because he was an embarrassment to the country. That's what he's trying to suggest. It's like Alex Jones believes in conspiracy theories, so he should make this conspiracy theory about it. It's just as plausible as a Muslim killing him, so why isn't he doing that? Oh, because he's part of the vast industry of anti-Islamic rhetoric. Of course, Sajid chose to quote Alex Jones, right? He could have quoted hundreds of, probably thousands of other people on Twitter saying similar things. but he wanted to quote Alex Jones so that he could say, well, he's an idiot, so don't believe this, right? It didn't happen.
To be as disrespectful as humanly possible toward what other people consider sacred. I mean, look at the problem this guy was causing for Sweden. Officials from a number of countries, including many in the
Wait, you mean like Muhammad when he destroyed the 360 idols around the Kaaba? Where the idols that the pagans who live there that he just conquered would consider holy? You mean being disrespectful like that?
Mm-hmm.
the Middle East have condemned the desecration of the Quran by a man in Sweden's capital during a protest authorized by police.
no.
He tore up and lit pages of the Islamic holy book on fire.
Authorized by police. He was not doing anything illegal. It was
Nothing.
he requested it. Police gave him the security. He was doing exactly everything according to the rules and regulations of the law of that country that he was residing in. Like
I also don't
he
get-
just destroyed himself by saying this.
Yeah, I don't know why he's quoting this, right? He's saying, oh, you know, Muslims, they could have done this murder because the Islamic authorities, dozens of them, condemned this action of burning a Quran. What is Sajid's point exactly?
He's just inciting the Muslims to kill everyone who does this, because he knows that last time when something like this happened, everyone in the entire world did the same thing. So he's now inciting them that, hey, if you see somebody doing this, do this. Let's scare the hell out of these non-Muslims so that they won't do it. That's all what he's doing. The whole purpose of this video is this. It is not a condemnation to the persons who killed Sawan. It is all about inciting everyone else and putting fear into the hearts of everyone else. Hey, let's just show them that we can be back. That's it. That's all what he's doing.
I think that was really important for you to point out, because at any point in this video, he could have said, yeah, he did all these evil things to Muslims, but Muslims would never want to do evil back to him. No, that's not what he said. Like, yeah, just connect the dots, because as Christians, even in the stream, we've been like, look, we're against Islam, but we love Muslims. We don't want them to die in falsehood. But no, that's not what Sajid is saying. Adam, you're right. Like, he had that opportunity. For some reason, it's not what he took.
Nope.
It is very interesting, right? So again, Sajid's supposedly one of the nice Muslim apologists, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's not that mean guy like hijab or whatever. And yet he comes on, he spends all this time basically justifying what happened, claims it might not have been a Muslim, never once says that anything wrong was done, right? The only thing that was done wrong was David Wood putting a piece of the Quran allegedly. We don't know all the facts, right? It could have been any piece of paper. We only know it was a piece of paper. Why you jumped to conclusions? But, you know, consistency. David putting a piece of Quran in a toilet. That's the only thing in the whole video that he condemned, right? Well, and jumping to conclusions. He didn't condemn the murder. He could have, right? That should have been his first statement. He's just said, I'm not condoning what happened, but, right? But he didn't even have the decency to do that. He is condoning it. He's saying it's right. And he's saying, you know what? The reason it happened is because it's justified, but don't say it was a Muslim because you don't know.
Thank you so very much. So in his video, he's saying Salwan did this and it is his fault that he is being murdered. This is so very common in Pakistan, that when they kill somebody or rape somebody, it is the fault of the victim, not the rapist, not the murderer. And the same thing is happening. I don't know from which part of this world this Lipim is from, but I'm dead sure he's not a Britisher or British national. He immigrated from some other part of the world. And if he did not, and he is from there, I don't know what kind of a mullahs he is going to get this kind of a brainwash, because that kind of a brainwash only happen when you are born in a Muslim society.
There we go. Ah. Yeah, stoke that fire every now and then. But yep. I do not know. I don't know what his origins are.
Thursday, as
before you
Muslims
play the video,
celebrated the Eid al-Adha.
Oh, go ahead.
can you put the comment of the better guy up that says, "How can you guys have so much pride?"
This guy?
Yeah. So he says, "How can you guys have so much pride? You realize we're all sinners. All of us deserve hell just as much as Islamic people, yet this is how you act." Now, I think this is aimed mostly at people in chat, but I'm going to take it as aimed at me as well. So let me address this. I do realize I'm a sinner. I do realize I deserve hell. You know why I act the way I act? Because I realize that, right? But I also realize one other crucial fact. I am redeemed not by my actions. I am redeemed by the free gift of grace provided by Jesus on the cross. And because I'm motivated by knowing that one fact, I want to share that same fact with many other sinners, many other people deserving of hell, just like me. So if you want to call that pride, if you want to say I'm boasting, I will boast of the gospel, right? I will boast of the truth of Christ, that he has redeemed me, that he has saved me from the hellfire I deserve. And I will proudly shout that from every street corner and to every Muslim who comes in here and says, you should just be nice and keep quiet and not say anything. I will boldly in their face tell them, no, I will not be quiet, because I am a sinner just like you, and I have been redeemed, and you can be redeemed too. So I am bold. I act the way I act. You want to call it pride? That's not accurate, but fine. I am prideful of the work that Christ has done. End of story.
All right. By the way,
There's
I need to
we
add.
have said that was prideful at all.
Thank you,
I don't think
thank
that
you.
word-
I
don't
wanted to bring this, but you need to see Eric. Thank you for saying that. I was about to say that, but do you see his name? What's his
The
name?
better guy.
Thank you.
The better guy. And he's
So
calling us prideful.
it's such an
The irony.
oxymoron statement by this idiot who calls us to be prideful. He has his name which is filled with pride. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Please, Eric. Sorry to
Well,
interrupt.
my point is, to quote one of my favorite movies ever, I don't think that word means what you think it means. That's all I got to say about that.
Holiday. Turkish president said, we will teach the arrogant Western people that it is not freedom of expression to insult the sacred values of Muslims. It is unacceptable to allow these anti-Islamic actions under the pretext of freedom of expression, the Turkish foreign minister tweeted. Turning a blind eye to such atrocious acts is to be complicit. The president said, if you don't show respect to the religious beliefs of the Republic of Turkey or Muslims, you will not receive any support for NATO from us. Morocco went atheist, or perhaps a
Pause. Then why is it not in reverse? So every single Muslim wants respect, and every single Muslim disrespects Christ. Every single Muslim disrespects Christ. When they say Jesus, peace be upon him, that's a blasphemy. That's a disrespect to my Lord. Full stop. Every single Muslim, when they say Jesus was a Muslim, it's a disrespect for my God, for Christ.
Absolutely.
Every single Muslim who say Christ was never crucified, it's a disrespect. Every single Muslim, when they say Bible has been altered, changed, destroyed, it's not a holy book, it's a disrespect. So they can say whatever they want to say, but if a non-Muslim, and by the way, Shwan was not even a Christian, he was an agnostic atheist. He does not believe in anything whatsoever. He is just an ex-Muslim who is an agnostic atheist. He wasn't even a Christian. But when anybody else says something against Islam or Quran, every single person in the world has to shout from the top of the roof that, hey, it's a disrespect to us. Then why the hell are you disrespecting everything else, everyone else? Stop disrespecting others if you want respect. Respect is not received, it's earned. Give respect if you want to take respect.
So thank you, Jack Ray. But go ahead.
Sorry. Delete 178 verses from the Quran if you want respect. and I'll give you respect.
That's it.
That's it.
I just say
There-
burn the Quran, and I'll show you some respect.
Yeah, the rest of the verses are all about some stories which I don't care. All about Muhammad being Muhammad to do sex and all that. All about save the backside of Muhammad, and some old stories which are repeated 3 times, 4 times, 5 times in a very different way, which shows that Quran is stupid idiot. But I just want to delete only 178 verses. I'll give you each and every verse. These are all the verses that I want to be removed out of 6,400 verses, and I'll give respect to all the Muslims, every single one of them.
I think you might be waiting a while. Just saying. Just saying.
Then I can't respect them.
Nope. Nope. So, but I do need to give respect to Jack Ray. Thank you for joining membership for 2 months and also giving 10 memberships out to everyone else. He says, satanic verses, roasting over an open fire. Jack Ray making puns. Okay. Sorry, I can't see it hardly on this little screen I have out in the woods. So far, the Quran smoke's kept all the coyotes away, so I'm doing pretty good. Let's see here.
He favors. I mean, most people want to just live peaceful lives and get along with everyone. They don't make it their life's mission to be as disrespectful as humanly possible toward what other people consider sacred.
Absolutely.
Look at the problem this
Just
guy was
like
causing for
Muhammad.
Sweden. Officials from
Just like Muhammad. Just like Muhammad. Yeah. Exactly. Don't you see the life of Muhammad? He was absolutely disrespectful for every other religious ideology at the time. So your prophet is the same what you are saying, not Salwan. Your prophet. Look at the life of Muhammad, you idiot. The one you follow, the one you call the last prophet. Man, this guy is he's increasing my blood pressure right now, Alex. Like literally.
That's about right. Hey, buddy. Oh boy.
A number of countries, including many in the Middle East, have condemned the desecration of the Quran by a man in Sweden's capital during a protest authorized by police. He tore up and lit pages of the Islamic holy book on fire on Thursday as Muslims celebrated the Eid al-Adha holiday. Turkish president said, "We will teach the arrogant Western people that it is not freedom of expression to insult the sacred values of Muslims. It is unacceptable to allow these anti-Islamic actions under the pretext of freedom of expression," the Turkish foreign minister tweeted. Turning a blind eye to such atrocious acts
Turkish
is to be
foreign minister.
complicit. The president
Man,
said,
What do I care?
Exactly.
I mean, seriously speaking, what do I care if a bunch of Muslim nations get upset over this? What do I care if some guy is trying to dictate to me what I can and can't do with my own property from a nation away? From a pathetic little excuse of a nation that can't stand up to my nation at all, that doesn't allow basic freedoms to their own citizens.
The animals have
"If you
no
don't show
rights
respect to the
in
religious
a,
beliefs of the Republic of Turkey or Muslim."
I was about to say the animals have more rights when it comes to freedom of speech than a Muslim than anybody else in a Muslim country, because at least an animal can bark or do meh anytime they want to, but nobody else can do that. So animal has more freedom of speech in a Muslim country than a non-Muslim or even a Muslim to that manner.
And we were just doing a review on Hatoon's channel 2 days ago, talking about the Islamic Spain that they all point to. And yeah, it's the same there too.
"You will not receive any support for NATO from us." Morocco went beyond a statement of condemnation and recalled its ambassador to Sweden for an indefinite period. Egypt said the act was shameful, especially since it took place on Eid al-Adha. Iraq called the act racist and irresponsible. Jordan said it was an act of dangerous hate and a manifestation of Islamophobia that incites violence and insulting religions and cannot be considered a form of freedom of expression at all.
So insulting religion cannot be
violence. I wonder who would be committing that violence. That is
Muhammad!
inciting.
Ali, Hassan, Hussein, Fatima, Abu Bakr, Usman, Umar, and all the tabe'ins and taba tabe'ins and these writers and the tafsir writers and every single idiot who accepts Islam as a religion. They all do that.
Yeah, I can't imagine any person, like even hypothetically, saying, "Oh, I saw him burning a Quran. I'm going to go beat up a Muslim now." So the only violence this is inciting is against non-Muslims for being evil and burning Qurans.
And how much more would the Muslims be upset if this was reversed? If this was someone that a Christian killed because they burned a Bible? Not saying that Christians would ever do that, because it's very anti-Christian
A Muslim,
by definition.
a Muslim burning the Bible, that happens so very often in Pakistan, and nothing happens, even though that the law of Pakistan says you cannot desecrate a religious book, yet they do that and nobody goes to jail. Nobody will send him to jail. But if a Christian in Pakistan or a Hindu in Pakistan will burn Quran or do anything close to that, he'll be killed. Like, it's a double standard. 100% double standard.
Something else too that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Good.
I was gonna say one of the claims here that was made was that burning a Quran is racist. Now,
Interesting.
I'm not sure if maybe one of you guys knows how on earth this is racist, but the man who burnt the Quran is an Iraqi. Exactly who is he being racist against? By burning the Quran?
I thought the Quran was for all people, not one particular race. This is weird, right? I mean, the Quran is supposed to become a pale white man when it comes to life in the end time. So maybe it's racist against pale white men because the Quran is one. I don't know. Yeah, help me out here. I don't even know how this is theoretically racist.
I thought white men can't be racist, though. At least that's what I've been told.
I mean, Muhammad was also a super white man who owned black African slaves, so maybe he was racist against Muhammad? Yeah, make it make sense.
Oh, maybe it does. Let's go ahead and let him finish off here. We don't got much more.
And as you can see, country after country condemned this and were upset by it. But Mr. Alex, King of Conspiracy Theories Jones, couldn't find some sort of connection to the government. He's going to just blame Islam. And just to be clear, I'm not saying it was a conspiracy theory.
Again, all the countries.
What do all those governments have in common? Yeah, what do all those governments have in common?
Other than the fact that I wouldn't give a crap about their laws, is they're all Muslim nations dictated by Sharia law. All of them.
So how dare they connect? It could have been any one of these governments. It could have been a conspiracy from any one of these Islamic governments. How dare he say it was motivated by Islam?
I don't know what happened, but neither does he, and neither does she. All that we know is that this guy was being as provocative as possible, just like his buddies who have safely made a career out of this for so many years. So I don't personally condone anyone taking justice into their own hands and doing these sorts of things. In fact,
thank you so much. Stop.
Literally.
He just agreed. He just agreed to the fact that killing of Salwan was right. I want to show you one more image before you continue this. Can you show my screen, please? This is Bushra Sheikh.
Right here.
Bushra Sheikh. Look at the second tweet. It says, damn, it's true. This time around, extreme Islamophobia Salwan Momika, known for burning the Quran, is shot dead in Sweden while doing a TikTok live. And what is the first one? Some of you may disagree, but public desecration of the holy book should be viewed as a hate crime and offender should face consequences. And then when the consequence happens, she's like, there you go. The consequence happened. And this is what now play the last 15 seconds of this guy. Lip him.
Absolutely.
Lip him.
it a she. All that we know is that this guy was being as provocative as possible, just like his buddies who have safely made a career out of this for so many years. So I don't personally condone anyone taking justice into their own hands and doing
Thank
these
you.
sorts of things. In fact, this is what these
He
people
don't
want. I mean, he's
condemn.
literally
He
right.
don't condone. He like, come on.
I don't condone anyone taking action into their own hands unless it's right.
Man.
I only spent 7.5 minutes condoning it before I said the sentence I don't condone. I'm very genuine.
Man, this guy is. He
All we know is
just
that this guy
approved. He just spent what? How many? 7 minutes to appreciate this guy before he can. He say I don't condone. Man, this guy is such a deceptive lizard.
was being as provocative as possible, just like his buddies who have safely made a career out of this for so many years. So I don't personally condone anyone taking justice into their own hands and doing these sorts of things. In fact, this is what these people want. I mean, he's literally writing, "Come get me, cowards." They want you to do these things. The more awful and provocative they are, the more attention they get, the more reach that they have. And they know deep down, Muslims are peaceful people. That's why they get away with it for so many years.
And that's why this definitely, that's why we never have any sort of Muslim attacks ever. There's never anyone who kills someone and then says Allahu Akbar. There's never anyone in the history of the world that would ever, in fact, Islam definitely did not conquer every one of those nations that he just quoted saying that they condemn this because they have Sharia law now. They definitely were not conquered by Islam. In fact, you know what? Islam was just everywhere all the time anyway, and it definitely didn't even conquer the first two cities, Mecca and Medina. Oh, it never definitely spread by the full sword ever, except for all the times it did. Sorry, I'm using sarcasm again, and we know that Muslims don't handle that well.
They don't even know what sarcasm is, man. But anyhow, man, this guy is a news right now. He's just a news. He became a news. Another news on the newspaper. How many of the ex-Muslims have to die before the world will realize that Islam has nothing to do with peace, but rather pieces? And 26 pieces to be precise. Because Quran says cut their hands and feet, the fingers. So they're like 5 and 5, 10 and 10, 20. And then hands and feet from the opposite side. That's like 20 plus 4, 24. And strike their necks. That's 25. And strike their every joint. Strike on their every joint. So now the remaining, I don't know how you can actually. So yeah, 25 and then some X number of pieces. So that's what the religion is all about. And I'm talking about what the Quran is saying, not anybody else. It's a religion of pieces, not peace.
Absolutely.
In fact, if they were this disrespectful to non-Muslims, something would probably happen to them a lot sooner. Because non-Muslims, they truly don't understand how disrespectful this sort of behavior is. So as we can see, they're going to use this news as much as they can to spread hatred against Islam and Muslims, to push this idea that the West is in danger because of Muslims, even though people, sometimes they are literally, as we can see here, they're literally asking for somebody to do something to them. But my advice is, brothers and sisters, don't take the bait. It is upon us to follow the laws of the land. And even in a Muslim country, it's for the authorities to deal with this sort of thing.
Which verse of the Quran says follow the law of the land?
I've already said that. Yep. Where does it say that, bud? Where does it say that? I've heard that a lot.
Such a deceiving liar.
Every time.
Never. Quran, there's not even a single verse in the Quran. Quran always talk about follow the law of Allah and Muhammad. Quran even says that if you cannot follow the law of Allah and Muhammad in a country, leave that bloody country and get out. And I would say, yes, get the hell out of every single non-Muslim country. That's what Quran tells you to do. It never says follow the law of the land. Why is he using biblical verses? I'm so sick of this guy, man.
Samuel raises a very good point.
Which one?
He says, Second the most recent comment. That was tested in Sweden after Quran burnings. People burned the Bible, but no one cared. Because, you know, he's saying if they were doing this against non-Muslims, they would probably already have been killed long ago. But Muslims are just so peaceful. Okay, so a number of non-Christians, obviously, probably mostly not Muslims, right? Probably mostly atheists, because there's way more of those in Sweden. Burned Bibles to see what would happen. And no one reacted whatsoever. It wasn't even a news story,
Nope.
right?
Not noteworthy.
I didn't see all the Christian governments of the world coming out and saying, we condemn this horrific, violent act. If he was in our country, he would be dead. I mean, I didn't say that. Islam is peaceful. Islam is peaceful.
But the reality is they wouldn't even do things like this in a Muslim country. And Islam also doesn't allow
What?
Muslims to.
Why? Why would they do that? Why would they do Quran burnings in Muslim nations? They would get killed. But if you're talking about Bibles being burnt, yeah, they did. In fact,
Every other day.
Islamic
every other
Spain,
day.
they did that commonly. They made them, quote unquote, disappear.
Act this way towards the people of other religions. Allah knows best, and Allah will judge all of us accordingly
Allah,
in the
okay.
hereafter. May Allah guide
Hey.
all of us. May Allah protect us. Thank you for watching.
Tell this. Do you have any contact with this guy?
Context
Sajid,
for
no.
Contact.
Sajid? Oh, contact. No. You kidding?
Yeah,
They
because
wouldn't
he
actually
just said
want to ever talk.
Allah knows everything. I want to challenge him on that.
You think he'd answer your challenge? He's too
He won't?
scared of that.
He's a scared brat. Okay, fair enough.
David and
busy
AP
running.
might have contact, so we might be able to actually get contact with them if you want.
They give
Yeah,
it a
let's figure
shot,
it out.
but
Allah
like
knows
I said,
nothing.
I'd be shocked.
You'll be shocked that he will accept the debate challenge.
Yes, I would be shocked if he actually accepts the debate challenge.
Uh,
Yeah, he could prove me
okay.
wrong. He could prove me wrong right here, right now, and I'd be perfectly fine with that. I'd be very entertained by seeing him debate you.
Okay, Sajid Lipam, open debate. Prove that Allah knows best and Allah knows everything. That's an open debate challenge. Let's see if you have the guts. And I will ask my editor to cut this video and put it up as a short on my channel.
Here,
And
let me
I'd
do this
be
better. Let me do it better. Hold on. Go ahead, Adam.
All right, Sajid Lipam, you just said Allah knows best and Allah knows everything. Open challenge for you. Prove it from the Quran if you can. And you have the time till the day of Qiyamah. Open challenge. I'll give you double the time that I will speak. 2 minutes for you, 1 minute for me. Open challenge to you. Thank you so much.
So now
I
he
even-
can, your editor can take that and run with it.
Absolutely.
And just so everybody knows, I'm sure there's a lot of people that'd be willing, but I'd be happy to moderate that.
Perfect.
I'd be happy to do whatever I could. I'd share it. I'd promote it. Whatever the result of that may be.
I will get you the short.
Absolutely.
But I mean, the
Okay.
debate, even if he completely annihilates you, I mean, I'd be happy to share the result of that debate everywhere too. Like,
Absolutely.
just
No matter what the result is, you're a moderator. You have to share the result. Full stop.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I think we have ourselves some interesting conclusions from this. I think we burnt. I think I had two. No, I think I had 3 good Qurans, 3 shot Qurans, and then we added 2 more to the set. So I think we're either at 7 or 8 Qurans burned during this live stream over the last 2 hours and 44 minutes. My time here is about up. The Qurans are still burning, so I'll let them burn away. And you know what? I got a challenge for each of you guys out there. Take a picture of burning the Quran and post it on X and tag me. Let's make this a thing. If they think
I have
it's
a live
acceptable
stream.
for killing someone over this, let's
Yeah, I
make
have
it
a live
public.
stream in 70 minutes. I will show this part of the video, early part of the video, where you burn the Quran in a very nice barbecue manner. I'll show it there as well. And I'll ask people to tag you.
Absolutely. That would be fantastic. I look forward to seeing the creative ways you guys decide to burn the Quran. And with that being said, is there anything you guys would like to plug today? Let's go ahead and start with my lovely wife, and we'll go down according to how I see them. Elle?
I will just plug the Bible. So everybody should take some time out of their evening or their morning or their afternoon. Go read the Bible. Go see who Jesus Christ actually was. I would say what he's got coming up is the best of all. Jesus Christ, who is God, has some pretty awesome things coming up, and hopefully you'll be on his side.
Amen. Okay, Adam.
I think I've said a lot already, and but I'll close this by saying, if there is one person doing this, he's a target. If everyone doing something, nobody is a target. So show these immoral, illiterate, ignorant people what we can do as together. Thank you so very much.
Thaddeus?
Very well put by Adam there, and I'll cite the Muhammad cartoons of, what was that, late 90s, early 2000s, when the Charlie Hebdo studio was attacked. Not the first incident of people being attacked for making cartoons of Muhammad, but this time was different, right? Previous times, newspaper coverage around the world was kind of like, oh, they kind of did a bad thing. They kind of deserved it. But the Charlie Hebdo situation was different. For whatever reason, I don't know exactly why, but for whatever reason, a massive social movement across the world happened. You know, Je suis Charlie. We're all part of this. And what happened? People had Draw Muhammad Day and drew Muhammad. And cartoons of Muhammad became a normal thing. Muslims still don't like him, right? They still complain and grumble. But you haven't seen any incidences of violence since then, have you? And I put up cartoons of Muhammad all the time. Eric puts up cartoons of Muhammad all the time. A lot of times I don't even get comments. Sometimes I get a little bit of grumbling, right? Oh, I wish you wouldn't have put that in the thumbnail or whatever. Same thing can happen with burning Qurans, right? One person burns a Quran, they get revenge taken on them. Everyone's burning a Quran. Muslims just have to get used to it, right? People destroy Bibles all the time. Occasionally they get a little bit of attention for it. Usually they don't get any. And if Muslims really want Quran burning to not become a thing, stop reacting to it. I don't think you can meet that challenge, but that's okay. We will force you to meet it by desensitizing you, by constantly burning Qurans until you stop making reactions to them. That's a promise. It's a promise from me. I'm sure it's a promise from everyone else on this stream as well. And I think a large chunk of our audiences will be on board with this particular activity. I have not burned a Quran before today. I did not see a specific reason to do that particular act. Now I have a very good reason to do so. That's all I need to say.
Sounds good. As for me in closing, Muslims, just respect human life, stop killing people, and we would stop burning the Quran. It's very simple. It's not complicated. It's a very simple process. Now, that being said, we do have some things coming up. Again, due to the Muslims' activity on the last live stream I had, we will have our first wheel of desecration video ready to go. And I'll have that out in a couple of days. You'll see why at least one of those Qurans, actually, no, the video I'm going to be showing you isn't even here because the Quran didn't survive its encounter. So you will see that later in the next couple of days. And then if Muslims continue to do this sort of garbage, try to shut down my channel again, we will spin the wheel and find out what happens next. So thank you guys all for joining us. And in closing, Dias Volt.